Mold Squad Restoration, 312-607-8225. You can visit us at www.moldsquadusa.com. We are a mold remediation, water damage restoration, fire damage restoration company, and we also do rehab and construction work as well. We're here today in the project where I showed you the water outside, how the sump pump was leading into the drain tile system, but it's winter time, so that all that water is clogging up the system, causing it to freeze and basically breaking the drain tile system. So I showed you the outside of it. Now today I'm going to show you the inside of the basement and show you how badly affected the basement was. So here we are in the basement, and you can see that, you know, the floors are still wet. The water was probably like about, I want to say about 2 feet. Not really 2 feet, about maybe like a foot of water in here. We got everything bagged up as far as the material, but there you go. You can see the mold on the wall. This is how bad the mold gets. So we already started the demo. We're doing 4 feet of demolition, and here you are. All this stuff got ruined in this foot of water. And this is what happens when you don't check your basements, or do not have a battery backup system for your sump pump. You can see how bad the mold grew, how bad it's affecting everything. This is ugly here. We have an air scrubber machine there, and we were using it, but just keeps clogging up the filter. We're gonna start using it again. We just got to make some space here, and there's a lot of water on the floor. We keep getting shocked with the extension cords on the floor, so we gotta. I mean, we already dried out the water one time, but the sump pump keeps basically failing. It's a cheaper sump pump, but you can see we did 4 feet of drywall demolition already. This back wall, there's lots of leaks here as well, other than the basement flooding from the sump pump. Like for example, this back wall here, we have to actually take this wall out completely because upstairs, this is their kitchen. They had a drain issue. As you can see that there goes the drainage, the PVC drainage there for the sink, and you can see something is wrong is going up on there. Either a broken PVC is probably cracked, or maybe one of their copper lines, got basically froze, and they probably repaired it, but I'm not sure what happened there. But we have to open up this whole wall just to get rid of the mold. The drop ceiling always has to go. You can see it kind of sagging, and that's because moisture entered. This is like basically cardboard, so that's gonna bend right away. Drywall upholds surface mold better than the drop ceiling tile, because the drywall has a layer of paint that the mold rests on, so it doesn't allow it to penetrate deeply as far as surface mold on the ceiling. When the drywall is wet underwater, that you have to remove it. You can see how bad the wood is. Here's the back side of a drywall here. You see how bad that is. The doors, look at the doors, how bad the doors are. But let's go to one of the worst spots. I believe the worst spot was right here in this area, which was a bar up in here. But another worst, but check out the baseboard. When have you ever seen a black baseboard? And that's not paint, that's just water damage and mold. You can see that the baseboards were white at one point. You can see that white color, but now it's covered in mold. Even the stair framing has major water damage on the stairway framing. Lots of things that they had here that got damaged. It's a shame. They had lots of expensive equipment as far as exercise, like that elliptical machine. Pretty sure that costed them like $500 to $1,000, and they have more equipment over there. They have a treadmill backed by the ladder, another running machine here. They have a little TV, piano, There was a lot of good stuff here that went to waste. You know, just get your basements inspected. Make sure they're up and running. You know, if you have a finished basement, don't let this happen to it. Here's the other room that I was telling you guys about. So let's look at the damage. Look at the mold on that wall. That is bad. That is really, really bad. This room here, we're not going to do 4 feet. We're just gonna demo the entire room, because the other living areas of the basement, the mold only went up probably like about a foot. This one goes up about 3 feet. So pretty sure the mold on the backside of the drywall probably comes up to almost by the window. You know. Especially the insulation. The insulation's got to be very humid. But look at the door. Look at the drywall. You know, mold is very weird. It's lots of colors. And if you can see the green, it's some green mold right there. It'd be greenish yellow, and it transfers to white, and then it gets back to black. Breathing all these spores can make you sick, especially if you live with it. You know, mold problem like this, I guarantee you, I promise you that it's already inside the air duct system, and these homeowners here are basically breathing it. They have little kids here in the house, and they're all breathing the mold spores, and it's pretty sad that it's just this neglected. But they didn't know. I believe that they went on the homeowners went on vacation for about 2 weeks, and they came back, and their sump pump wasn't working anymore, and they realized there was a whole bunch of water, and it sat for like about 2 or 3 weeks, and this is what happened. I'm pretty sure this is probably like about 3 to 6 weeks of mold sitting here, of the drywall just being wet. But if you can see the ceiling also has its own leak here. You can see that ceiling there. This is a separate issue from, I believe, a toilet from the upstairs, but this is why we're gonna demo the entire thing. Look at that mold. Look how that basically looks like Crayola or like charcoal, like rubbed on it, like layers of charcoal, but it's just basically mold. Look at the wood. Look how bad the wood is. It's still leaking. You can see how wet it is there. So we're gonna have to fix lots of things. Will insurance pay for this? Honestly, I'm gonna say no. But a lot of people, it's different strokes for different folks, because what insurance says about this, they call this a form of neglect. You know, they say that, you know, you're not supposed to let your basements like this. You know, especially if there's people living in the home, you're not supposed to let your basement look like this. This is a form of neglect, so insurance doesn't pay for it. They'll pay for the water damage. They'll pay for like the initial flood. If the flood came and it didn't, you know, it was a no mold, the insurance company would pay for the removal of the baseboards, probably about a foot removal of the drywall, and just dehumidifiers and fans, blowers actually, running and basically dry out the entire moisture that's in the air, in the walls, ceiling. You know, just those commercial grade dehumidifiers from Dryease. You know, those are the ones that are they dry out the whole basement. Probably 2 of those machines will dry out the basement probably like 2 or 3 days. But here we are here in the utility room, and let me tell you, there was a bunch of frogs in here as well. Like, this basement was its own swamp. It was pretty disgusting. There was like about 6 frogs jumping at us everywhere. We got rid of that problem already, luckily. Luckily we got rid of that problem, because I couldn't do it. But you can see that they're still wet. You can see this where the water hit the concrete floor. That looks like about 6 inches. That's how much it was standing for about 2 weeks. And then when we came in here, then it just flooded again up to a foot. So, but he put in a new sump pump. Honestly, I'm sorry to say this, but the sump pump is very cheap. The homeowner that put it in, I don't recommend using a cheap sump pump. You always want to get something good when dealing with water in your basement, especially if your basement's finished. You know, you don't want this happening to your basement. But you also have to have a battery backup system. They do not have a battery backup system. So if something should ever happen, like for example, you're gonna hear this go on and off throughout the time. But you need a battery backup system, so when the lights should go off, there should be a power outage in the neighborhood, the electrical stops running. So there it goes, it's running. But anyways, like I was saying, you need a battery backup system that way, so if the electrical should go out during a power outage or something should happen. They didn't even put this on right. It's leaking water, like you can see that. It's just leaking water. This is just crazy. Lots of people want to do things themselves, but they don't know how to do it. It's at an angle. This is at an angle here. It's supposed to be. But a battery backup system will help, when a power outage, happens, that battery backup system will always keep your sump pump running. There was a little frog there. I don't know if you guys can see it as a frog. No, you can't really see it, so. But there it goes right there. I guess the homeowner might have tried to smash them or something. I don't know. Those things are big and they jump at you. I'd rather deal with mice because mice don't really jump at you. They just run from you. Those toads, man, they're jumping at you. But so you can see the water got inside the furnace. I think they have another furnace upstairs, and that's how they're heating up their house. Because this one is off. This one's not turning on. And look at the water heater. The water heater is so rusted. I'm pretty that water heater is not working at all. They have to have a backup one. This is just filled with water. It's just nasty. It's sitting on the ground. You're not supposed to have these things sitting on the ground. You always want to keep them up. Like what this guy did here, he put some bricks. I would have went a little higher. That's probably like 3 inches off the ground. You want to do it like at least 6 inches off the ground on both. But that's it. Here's the backside of a drywall here. But yeah, this is what we do. We are Mold Squad Restoration. 312-607-8225 is our phone number. We are based out of Chicago and service suburbs as well. We have 2 locations. We have one location that handles all of Chicago and the Chicagoland area. We have also another office in Braidwood, Illinois, which is a little southwest, going towards Joliet and and Wilmington area, Coal City area. We have that location as well. So we got 2 locations. So this is nothing new. This is nothing people, I put this on YouTube. People probably very disgusted and they don't understand how basements could get like this, but I've been doing this for a long time, and basements get like this. This is nothing. You guys think this is ugly. This is nothing. This is a piece of cake. Usually I've seen houses where, $1 million mansions in Lamont, Illinois or Plainfield or Naperville that are foreclosed, and a pipe breaks in the wintertime and nobody knows of that pipe breaking because, nobody checks up on those houses every day. They check up on them like maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks or maybe even once a month. But I see houses in Lamont or Plainfield, Naperville area where the entire house is like this. From floor to ceiling, covering the entire ceiling, mushrooms growing out of the walls and ceilings. Like this one didn't have any mushrooms. It just got lots of mold, but this is still not bad. We've done worse. And believe it or not, we're doing this 4-foot demo. We're gonna do it in a day. So it's gonna take us a day to do this. So remember, you don't let your basements get like this. This is one of the worst. One of the worst it gets. This is how worse it gets. So get your sump pumps checked regularly. Get your basement checked regularly. Watch out for any leaks. What the homeowner did also is that he was pumping out the water, and he didn't really get it out of the house, away from the house. He pumped it, and the water was coming back, back into the foundation because he wasn't pumping it away from the house. Well, what I did is I started pumping that water. I seen that the water was pumping outside. I grabbed the PVC pipe and some connectors and extended that water 25 feet away from the house just to get it away, and it worked. Okay, so Mold Squad Restoration and Contracting is our name. 312-607-8225. You can visit us at www.moldsquadusa.com. We handle mold remediation, water damage restoration, construction services, remodeling. We do it all. We have different, crews that handle different types of work, and we do it all. You name it, we do it. Residential, commercial, industrial. Once again, Mold Squad Restoration, 312-607-8225. Have a nice day.